And welcome back to TOMP Talks number 8. I'm Robert Ray, your host for the evening, and the executive director of the original Motto Project, which you're probably here to listen about. And I'm going to let the rest of the team introduce themselves. Tom?
Yeah, I'm Thomas Essel. I am the assistant director for the original Motto Project. Welcome, everybody.
Hi, I'm Wesley Wilson. I'm a part-time filmmaker. I write, act, film. I do special effects like graphics, 2D, 3D graphics. I do some music on my computer, and I plan to major in psychology in college, so I like to keep my options open.
Cool. And Chris?
And I'm Chris McDowell, the original Motto Project outreach coordinator. I'm the one in charge of trying to talk to everybody out there and fill in the gaps that Tom and Robert can't reach. I'm apparently not dead from the sickness that struck me off of last show, so I have survived that and come back to entertain you all.
And we are happy to have you back, Chris.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And Wes is our special guest this week. We're going to get to his story a bit later in the show. But first, I think we have some news.
First up is your rally.
First is my rally, yes.
Yes.
So a lot of you might know that Franklin Graham is doing his Decision America tour. And he happens to be coming to my home state. So I said to myself that day, we should have a rally for the motto, since he's obviously having a rally to promote theocracy, because that's what it feels like. So on June 29th at 11 a.m. at the East Plaza North Lawn in Olympia, we'll be having an E Pluribus Unum and support separation of church and state rally. So far, we've booked a couple speakers. I've got Sam Mulvey from Ask an Atheist, Travis Simmons, the Big Funny, and Damien at Hope, the axiological atheist.
And you'll be talking, won't you?
A little.
A little.
A little.
We need more.
He's only there to sign autographs. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Do you have, is it just going to be the speakers? Do you have like activities or anything planned, or have you not decided all that yet?
We're still in the planning stages for that. One of the ideas that I thought we might do is to have a sign-up sheet or sign up on the website that I'm currently in the middle of designing. To have public speakers, people come up and give 2 or 3 minutes on what E Pluribus or separation of church and state means to them.
Right.
If we get enough, we can just do a lottery and just pull names out of a hat. I thought that, kind of get everybody involved.
What will they win?
A chance to speak.
Oh,
that's what I mean by the lottery.
And an autograph.
Yeah, I'll sign up. I'll sign whatever.
All right. And so Franklin Graham's going to be there.
Yep.
And we should talk a little bit about what that's about, because I actually spoke about that at SashaCon.
Oh, you did?
And I actually just pulled up my notes from SashaCon. That's what I was trying to get you to drag out that sentence.
Oh, okay.
So you mentioned the Decision America tour will be there in Olympia. And here's what Graham says about his tour. The purpose of the tour is to challenge Christians to live out their faith at home, in public, and at the ballot box. He wants Christians to honor God with their vote, supporting where possible candidates who will uphold biblical principles, including the sanctity of life and the sacredness of marriage. And he has a promotional video on his website. I don't have his website. I don't know if I should mention it. It's probably iwishiwasbillygraham.com. My father.
I'm not.com.
my father's shadow.com.
Yeah.
And he's got a promotional video on there that has lots of "In God We Trust" imagery on it. So it seems like the appropriate place to have the original Motto Project.
Yeah, that's why I thought it would be a great idea to do it. I tried to get a closer spot to them, but the state was asking me, "Are you sure you want to be there?" So I said, we'll just go across the street, because I don't want to cause too much trouble.
Yeah, I'm not sure how big his rallies have been. I know he was in Phoenix last Friday, but I don't know how many people showed up.
Yeah. Well, according to his reservation, it's supposed to be about 500. I don't think I can get 500. Be nice.
Show up? We might
I'm surprised it's 5. I'm surprised it's that low.
Yeah. So, well, it is
Well, he's
Olympia.
no Billy. He's no Billy Graham.
No, but it is. It's Olympia, and we're not exactly the most evangelical area.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's actually going to be here he'll be in Jefferson City, Missouri, where Chris and I live. We live in Missouri, for those who don't know. In May. I believe it's May. I wish I could go, but it's probably not going to work out because it happens to fall on the same weekend that I graduate from college. So,
Well, let's get to graduation first.
yeah, Franklin Graham's not that important to me. All right, so that about covers it. So if you're in Washington or want something fun to do that weekend, go up there, visit Robert.
Yeah.
He loves attention, especially in public.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bring him a bow tie.
Yes, bring bow ties.
So we should talk a little bit about our fundraiser.
Yeah.
Robert secured us a anonymous donor who will match funds up to $1,000. So whatever we raise up to $1,000, he will match it. And we've currently raised $662.
Yeah.
Which means we just did the math on that, which means we actually have $1,324, which puts us very, very close to our goal to put up our Bring Back Our Motto billboard.
That is correct.
And so that's pretty exciting. It'll be interesting. I'm still pushing to put it in Springfield just so I can see it in person.
It is ground zero.
It is.
It's also probably the safest place for it.
that and it's not too expensive there either with the digital billboard.
Yeah, there's actually one. I actually took my kid to Wendy's for lunch today, and there's a digital billboard like right down the road from my house, and I was like, oh, I want it right there so bad. But so that's that. So if you're interested in helping us out with that, give us money.
Yeah.
I think I say that every show.
You donate 50 cents and it turns into $1.
That is correct. And then we'll stamp that dollar.
And then we will stamp that dollar. So give us money. I say that every show for a reason. It helps us out big time. And just today we had to get the video editing software. There's a lot more that goes into this than people think.
Yeah.
Let's see. SashaCon. I was up at SashaCon in Columbia, Missouri. That was last weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was there for that. Talking about In God We Trust. I gave a presentation for I forget what Sasha stands for. It's Skeptics, Atheists, and Secular Humanists of Missouri University. Had a great time. Had about 30 or so people in the audience. I was the first one up, and it was still kind of early for college kids. So didn't have the...
Before 3.
Before 3.
It was before 3, so I didn't have the huge crowd, but that was a lot of fun. Some interesting questions. I actually had one of the question I actually stumbled on. One of the students asked me, why is there a Latin motto? And I've never got that question before. And so I kind of I stumbled on that for a minute. I was like, I can't believe somebody asked me this. This isn't one of my preset questions. I just answer.
What shall we do?
Yeah.
What he's really saying is it was a new and intelligent question, and we're really seeking those out.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate all questions, but I mean, it was just and actually the video of my SashaCon presentation just went up on our Facebook page. I think I put that up about 10 minutes ago or so. So you can check that out. Had some audio problems, so there's bits and pieces of it that are hard to hear. They mic'd me up, but it wasn't working. So that's that. Yeah, so thank you to Sasha Khan for having me out there and paying me in 6 pounds of jelly beans. I turned down the speaker's fee, just because I didn't feel right taking money. But I did tell them when I was emailing the person that put it together, I really like jelly beans, so do what you want with that. And at the end of my presentation, they came with a Walmart bag just full of jelly. I have some. There's a whole other bag I haven't even opened yet, sitting on my my bookshelf right now. So thank you to everybody from there. And does anybody have anything to say about that?
No, I can't wait to see the video.
Yeah, it went really well. I had a good time. It was fun. I'm sure Chris doesn't have anything to say since he abandoned me and didn't come.
Yes, it wasn't like my girlfriend's birthday or anything. But you never answered the question. Like, you told everyone that you got the question, but you never answered it.
Oh, yeah. So the answer to that question is that during the Enlightenment era, they thought very highly of Roman civilization. They really liked Roman stuff, Roman symbols. Bless you, my child. Most of the education was based on classics. So most educated people at least knew a little bit of Latin or Greek. And so they just basically really liked Roman stuff. And so they picked Latin for the motto.
Yeah, after the Middle Ages, that's how they got the name the Middle Ages, was there was that dark period in between, and then they wanted to go back before that, and so they looked to like the ancient Romans and stuff.
Yeah, they looked to the ancients as more kind of a more advanced, yeah.
Right.
So then we got a little bit of news to cover.
Yeah.
So everybody knows in Utah, they have "In God We Trust" plates now. So Governor Gary Herbert, not Harry Herbert.
Harry Gerbert.
Governor Gary Herbert signed House Bill 127 on Monday. And House Bill 127 removes the $5 fee for the specialty plate and makes Utah the 19th state to standardize the "In God We Trust" license plate.
Correct.
And the law takes effect January 21st of next year. And here is what Mr. Herbert had to say about that. As we see what's happening in the world, for me, it's a reflection of God's omnipotence and his love for us and his children. So I think this is a good reminder for us that in God we do trust. That's where we should put our trust first, not in the arm of flesh. I think that will help us guide this state and help us guide this nation. The governor said the plate makes an important statement as Americans and reflects the nation's history and founding fathers.
Huh.
So what do we think?
They always emphasize that too. They're always like, yes, it ties into the history. We're sure of that. Don't check. We're very sure of that.
Yeah, and I mean, he acts like every single person in the country is Christian and believes what he does. Like, we must, this is a reminder for all of us. Like, don't you realize there are people who don't agree with you?
No, they don't realize that.
Well, if he does, he's hoping that this reminds them that he is more powerful than them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a pretty standard statement we hear from people. It's interesting that they're getting more and more bold with their assertions about it being about religion.
Right.
Because usually they will say, "Oh, it's our national motto," and they kind of skirt around it. But it seems they're getting more and more brash with just saying, "Yeah, it's about Jesus."
Yeah.
There was that one cop car that they actually put Bible verses on there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was Hemphill County, Texas. We dealt with that guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we definitely dealt with that guy.
He stalked our page for like a month. His name's James something or other.
Yeah.
The sheriff there.
Yeah,
But
Texas.
He knows who we are.
Oh, yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, after, let's see, how many? 3 Freedom of Information Act requests. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. But I mean, Utah, it's kind of interesting.
Well,
of course, it's very strong Mormon presence in Utah, especially Salt Lake.
Well, what's interesting to me is how many people I ran into, or I've been in discussions with, that are saying, finally, we get to have In God We Trust on our plates. And I'm like, you've had it since 2013. Now you don't have to pay for it. That's the only difference.
Well, they didn't want to pay the tithing before.
Right.
I mean, the fee,
Yeah.
not tithing. Sorry.
The $5.
Well, it's an extra $5. People are lazy, man. They want stuff for free.
I know.
God is omnipotent.
And that's what
God
bothers
is
me.
omnipotent, and he gives license plates with his name on it for free.
Well, and
they say that, like, In God We Trust. Oh, that's not religious because it's just God in general. But clearly, you're talking about a specific deity here.
Well, especially because they're talking about right. Especially in this case, when they're talking about omnipotence.
Yeah, we know which God that is.
Yeah, we know what God that is.
I mean, they try to act like it's just a God in general, but it's not. I mean, it's clearly Christian favoritism. The fact that God is being used as a name, like not in A God We Trust, it's In God We Trust. That's clearly the Abrahamic God. Yeah. So it's Christian favoritism.
Yeah,
is what
capital G.
Yeah.
Capital G, not lowercase g.
Yeah, I had a state senator actually tell me it's not a religious statement.
Well, that's what they ruled in the 70s, wasn't it? And that's why there's no legal enforcement, isn't it? Because the Supreme Court ruled in the 70s that it wasn't religious?
Yeah.
Yes, they ruled it's ceremonial.
Was it the Supreme Court? I actually had this
question.
No,
it's the Ninth Circuit, isn't it?
Yes, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that it was ceremonial deism in the Arano versus United States.
Yeah, so it never, because I had this question at SashaCon, and I couldn't remember off the top of my head if it had made it to the Supreme Court or not, but I didn't think it had.
Not yet.
Not the Supreme Court, but the Court of Appeals?
Yeah, the Ninth District Court.
That was in the 70s?
1970.
Okay.
That was a little bit before Wesley's time.
Just a minute or two, yeah.
A little bit.
Like all of us acting like we were there.
Yes, I remember in 1970. I was there.
Wes mentioned that he was getting ready to go into college. Are you still in high school?
No, I just haven't started my major yet. I'm a freshman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You don't make me feel too old then. That's good.
How does that make me feel?
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about these things.
Like you are very wise. That's how it makes you feel.
The fact that I have a child that the same age. So yeah.
Oh. I don't want to think about that because that's going to be me in like 10 years. So anyway, moving on. So we should talk about the University, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to read this and just let everybody know this is from the wonderful blog, The Anthropology on the Patheos Network. You should check that out.
Yeah, it's got some good writers.
They have excellent staff there. House Bill 2248 was passed through the Tennessee Legislators' House Committee for Education, Administration, and Planning with a due pass recommendation if an identical bill, Senate Bill 1912, passes through the Senate Subcommittee for Education, Administration, and Planning. And what do these bills say? They say, quote, "This bill prohibits the expenditure of state funds to support the Office for Diversity and Inclusion at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and requires that any compliance monitoring required by the federal government that is performed by the Office for Diversity and Inclusion at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville is performed by an employee in the Office of the Chancellor of the University of Tennessee, Knoxville." And I actually accidentally cut it off, but instead of the funds going to the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, it will be diverted into a state fund to pay for In God We Trust decals on police cruisers.
Basically taking it for diversity and putting it into a fund against it.
Correct.
Yeah. Yes, pretty much. Yeah. It comes to, let's see if I have it right here in front of me. Of course I don't.
It was 400 and something thousand.
Yeah, it's like 400. It's around $450,000. Yeah, this one stunned us. This one was great, and there was another one that popped up the other day. It was just either today or yesterday.
Really?
in a different state, the same exact thing.
I have not caught that. Of course, I've been busy, so.
Yeah. But there was another one that popped up, and kind of the same deal. They're wanting to basically reroute money to do this. This one's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't even really know what to say about that. So I'll let someone else say something.
So when I first saw this, it actually drove me to use expletives. Just so you know, that's how angry I was over this.
For those who don't know, Robert never uses expletives. So when he does use them, it's bad.
Yeah, I'm pretty well pissed off at that point. So what drives me insane about this particular one is the fact that they are taking away from a office that is designed to make people feel like they belong. Right?
Right.
And they're giving it to something that makes people feel like they don't belong.
Right.
And the amount of money. I mean, how many bumper stickers can you buy for $400,000?
I'm willing to bet you can buy quite a bit.
You can probably buy about 400,000 of them.
Yeah. What's really interesting to me now, my guess is that there's kind of a confluence of things here. I'm wondering why they're specifically targeting the Office for Diversity and Inclusion.
Well,
because they don't like it.
Well, there's some language. There's some language in this bill that tells you why, or gives you an idea. There's some language that would require them not to talk about transgender pronouns or sex week or anything similar to that.
They can't use the fund. They can't use money to promote gender neutral pronouns or anything like that, I think is what it was. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's part of it. I'm wondering if this is a backlash off of the Mizzou protests that were kind of spreading.
Yeah, that may be.
But it's interesting to me that they diverted the money to the In God We Trust thing. I know in Missouri, typically budgets, they have to be balanced. So if you defund something, you have to put the money somewhere.
Right.
You can't have a surplus, essentially.
Well,
so I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that Tennessee has something similar.
Probably.
And it's interesting that they actually, instead of just putting it off into something else that already exists, they created a whole new thing to put it into.
Well, part of the money that they're taking away, because they're taking away around $8 million total.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, but most of it's going to agriculture.
Okay.
Which is, that's fine. I think they should find a different way to fund the agriculture. But, so it sounds like, there is that kind of law.
Right. Yeah, that's my guess, but it's just, this is insane to me.
Yeah.
Like, nothing is a better representation of why In God We Trust is the wrong motto than this right here.
Exactly.
Well, I think I have a hypothesis as to why the In God We Trust and the lack of diversity are linked is because it's because of like dogmatism that a lot of religious people, particularly kind of conservative religious people, tend to have is like they think it's us versus them. A lot of people who are conservative religious think that, and so they don't like diversity because they want everyone to be part of their religion, and they want ultimately a monocultural society instead of a multicultural society.
Right.
Yeah. I certainly agree with you on that.
Yeah, from the language in the bill, it definitely sounds like part of it's backlash against maybe the SCOTUS decision on gay marriage.
Well,
yeah, I mean, this started around some times where the country was getting more progressive, didn't it? With the gay marriage ruling, and like taking down the Confederate flag off of state property and stuff.
So I really wonder if that's fueling this.
Well, I'm going to throw one out there.
All right.
Election year.
Ooh.
It is an election year. That's very true.
Religious pandering.
Yep.
Look what I did. Even if it doesn't stick, look what I tried to do for you.
Yep.
That's what my local sheriffs are trying to do. The guy, the police chief who put it on in Holmes County, is using that as like one of his main things now, is that I got the In God We Trust for you. And so now it becomes like people could know nothing about his policies otherwise except for that one thing. And so they're basically voting on religion instead of politics now.
Which brings up another interesting point. Most people don't know the policies of their sheriffs.
Yeah, the other sheriff that's running, I look on his site. There's like nothing on there except that he likes the elderly and children, so that's good. It's always good for a politician to like that, and the In God We Trust thing. So the other guy, the only other guy that is really standing a chance for sheriff around here, he supports the In God We Trust. So
right.
There's like no one progressive who's running around here.
Right.
And there was not really any sort of policies on there, but really big on his website, like, I support In God We Trust.
There you go.
Which is interesting because, I mean, from a law enforcement standpoint, you would think they would have, I wouldn't want to get body cameras for my officers or new equipment or...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you would think they would talk about things like that.
Yeah, accountability.
Maybe they think...
you said before, it's the mentality of if body cameras and new things like that are new, we don't want things to change. We want everything to remain the same and perfect the way it is now.
Right.
Maybe they think God is their body camera.
God is my body camera. We should get a t-shirt that says that. God is my body camera.
Fundraiser.
Someone that made T-shirts.
Yeah, only if we knew. Right.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing we should bring up real quick before we move on to Wes's story is Infinity Design and what they're going to be doing for us.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Infinity Vinyl Design is now printing the E Pluribus Unum magnet stickers and the E Pluribus Unum or motto shirts. We're going to have 3 different variations of the shirts, and we'll have a lot of variations of the magnets, including glitter variation, which is slightly more, but we actually just mailed one of those to Robert. He just got that. And we'll be having those up. The bumper stickers are 10 for the normal one, 15 for the glitter, and plus shipping. And the t-shirts are, I think, 20 a piece plus shipping.
Okay.
If I remember right. I'll have to have that, but we'll have that up on the original model product here very shortly.
Yeah, as soon as I get through breaking it.
And if you look up,
that's not a flub on the name to our website to purchase things is original motto product.
yes.
.com.
That is thanks to our great press from Fox News. They mispronounced our name, so we bought the domain and ran with it.
Yes.
But while Robert's fixing the original model product, go ahead and go look up Infinity Vinyl Design on Facebook and just message us directly. I'm completely in charge of that, and I'll go ahead and get you guys your orders.
Yep.
Yes. And we will have a bunch of stuff from them and other vendors, maybe, depending on what we can and can't do, at Gateway to Reason in August.
Yes. We'll have lots of stuff, bumper stickers and t-shirts there, and you won't have to pay shipping.
And so other than that, we will move on and we will let Wes take over and tell us about what he did last summer.
Right, and you guys were there. Let's see. The first time that I heard about the In God We Trust on the police cars was this Bay County in Florida. It was Sheriff McKeithen. There was a video on Facebook from the local news about how he put it on the back of the police cars. And some of my friends did a protest against that. And then it moved to where my county was. And I was mad about it being in Bay County, but then it moved over to Holmes County, and I was indignant. So I got some people together. We had about, six, I think it was 6 people that we had there. Yeah, that'd be 6. And then there were 300 counter protesters. So now, what I will say is that our 6 people stayed out there for hours in the heat, whereas the 300 people, they weren't all there at the same time. maybe a few, but mostly they circled in and out, which is what I hear happened in Bay County.
What did you guys do for your the counter, or not for the counter protest, but your protest? What did that specifically
We had
involve?
signs. I think we had an E pluribus unum sign out there. We had one sign that said one nation, A, under God, B, indivisible, pick one, which I thought was really good. So we had some signs. My friend came with his guitar, and we played some 60s music, or 70s. Imagine, John Lennon. Very good song for that. And let's see. Yeah, but we got on the local news. I later got on Fox News talking about stuff in another county. But I wanted to read this Facebook post by Chief Wells. If you're considering electing him, voting for him for sheriff, please do not. Just based on this. So I called in to a few people because I wanted to make sure the protest, everything was good and that we weren't violating any laws. And then I actually ended up talking to Chief Wells, which was the guy who put it on the back of the police cars. And he seemed like a nice guy. I don't have any beef with him personally. I'm sure he's a great guy. But he said, just make sure you know where the property lines are. There's no permit or anything you have to get. And so he seemed like a nice guy. He was nice. But then, I see on Facebook that he has just posted this, right after I called. He says, quote, I received notice this afternoon that on this Sunday at approximately 12 o'clock noon, a, quote, peaceful protest, unquote, will be held at the Bonifay Police Department by a, quote, pro-secular, unquote, organization. This is in response to the placement of In God We Trust stickers on our patrol cars. I would appreciate anyone who stands with me on this issue to show up and let everyone know where our trust lies. Thank you. And 252 likes, 48 comments when I took that screenshot. So that was a bit scary. And so we decided to show up a few hours earlier after that. We left.
Put in some sandbags.
Yeah, we left about the time that all of them were showing up. They did have some people come around the time that we came, but the bulk of them came around the time that we left. And we had this one guy who just got in our face. A lot of people got in our face around the time that we left. And this one guy gets in our face and he says, let me just say something. I cannot believe I served in Vietnam for you. And my friend's all peaceful's we're not being confrontational. We're not here to be confrontational, man. I'm not being confrontational. And he gets in our face. And later, I think on Channel 4 or something, that same guy is on TV. I can't believe I served in Vietnam for this. And this guy. And so that was an experience. But I quite enjoyed it. And I was glad to have you guys there to back us up because when you have an alternative, I think that's really helpful instead of just being we don't want this. No, we want our original motto. That's the one that really should be on there.
Right.
You can put a sticker on there, but preferably, much preferably, E pluribus unum. That doesn't violate separation of church and state.
And includes everyone.
Yeah. It includes everyone of many one. It's the same situation. It's like diversity, multiculturalism versus monoculturalism.
Yeah, and that's a point we make all the time is to never, never, never directly oppose In God We Trust, because that's basically the reaction you get. People shut down and scream in your face.
Well, I have directly opposed it, but I've also used E pluribus unum as an alternative.
Yeah, but that's just the point we like to make to people is have an alternative. It's easier to be ignored if you're just against something.
Right.
Be for something.
Yes.
Which is one of the points I brought up in my SashaCon presentation is basically that point. But I think it's great that he went down and actually protested.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you just show up, even just, and the fact, the counter protesters, they're not the reason that we got on the news. On the newspaper, we were on the front page, the protesters, not the counter protesters, because everyone expects in a small rural town in Florida for people to be for the In God We Trust stickers in mass.
Isn't In God We Trust the state motto for Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that the police chief brought up was that, well, it's been on it actually has been on the cars in our state seal. Since the 80s, it's been in the state seal. And so that brings up the question, well, why do you have to have it twice on there?
Very true.
Good point.
Well, during your protest, didn't they pull out the fire trucks and all that stuff too?
Yes, they did, and we got pictures of it. Nothing ever came of it, but yeah, we got pictures. They actually pulled out the fire trucks and police cars. My friend was walking over there. He said, "Are you using these as part of the protest?" And I think it was the police chief's wife. She said, "Yeah," and he's like, "Well, that is very illegal right now, right?" She's like, "Have a good day."
Well, they use the counter protesters use the government vehicles.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, the police chief and all the people that were part of the police chief. It's a
Right.
Police and fire department. It's one building. They were all for it, and so they just helped them out. But you can't use public property as part of a protest. That's very
That is correct. And if I remember correctly, Sheriff McKeithen showed up.
Yeah, he did. It's funny that Chris Wells on the news was basically trying to take the attention away from himself to Sheriff McKeithen. He's like, Sheriff McKeithen had this idea. It wasn't my idea.
Yeah, I remember him driving up and down the street like he was in a parade, waving out of his car.
That's crazy, man. What?
Yeah.
Wasn't he one of the first ones who did this?
He was one of the early ones. Greene County did it before him.
Greene County, Missouri was sneaky about it, though.
Yeah,
there wasn't a big.
Yeah. They didn't have a parade. They just suddenly it was on the cars, and he didn't really.
Wait, they had a parade in Bay County?
Well, not exactly. I mean, he drove up and down the street against the protesters, and it was waving. It was crazy. It was like he was on parade.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if there was a parade.
Oh yeah.
Doing the princess wave?
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, Bay County was one of the early ones. I think Stone County, Missouri was right before that. But I'm trying to remember my timeline because...
Yeah, it's been on Greene County cars since 2014.
Right. And it was the summer of 2015 that I became aware of it.
Yeah.
And Bay County was one of the first or second ones.
Yeah, and I think it's one thing to have it on the money, but when you put it on police cars and fire trucks, that kind of sends a different message because those are the people who are supposed to protect us, and you're sending this message like Christian favoritism, like non-Christians aren't as equal as others, and you're putting that on police cars and fire trucks.
Well, another way of looking at it too is they have no faith in their own ability. They're like, oh, we trust in God, not our training.
Right.
Yeah, I really want them to be trusting God. I want them to be trusting in their training.
Right.
Yeah, they actually bring that up a lot. I've noticed on news, when the news will interview these people, they'll say, well, we're going to serve everybody regardless. As if,
that's what they said.
The thought did cross their mind to not.
That's what they said here. Yeah, really. The fact that you have to say that makes me think of someone who's, the people who constantly say, I'm not racist, I'm not sexist, I have female friends, I have black friends, I am not bigoted. Yeah. Well, why do you keep having to say that? Why do you keep having to, and that reminds me of that.
Yeah.
I'm really waiting for the next time I get pulled over by Greene County because I have a pentagram on my car. So I'm waiting for that dynamic to take place. It's actually right above my E Pluribus Unum sticker.
Well,
that should be interesting.
Want it, though?
Right next to this Bernie Sanders sticker. So
it's also next to my Bernie Sanders sticker. Which,
don't go back to hell!
So, so be like Wes and go protest stuff.
Yeah, actually be like that and join me in a protest, June 29th.
Yeah. Yes, if you're in that area, drive to Olympia and support the Original Model Project and
Or if you're one of those people that has a hard time donating money to a cause, but you can spend all the money on a road trip, take a road trip up to Washington.
Yeah.
Do it that way. Support us that way.
Yeah. I'm really hoping the news will come out and talk to you.
I hope so. I mean, I'm going to have loudspeakers and stuff, so they won't miss me.
Oh, they letting you have sound equipment?
I just asked, they said, "Are you going to need sound equipment?" I said, "No, I have my own." They're like, "Okay."
Awesome.
So I said, as long as there's an outlet nearby, I'm good. He's like, "Yeah, there's one like 20 feet away." Sweet.
Perfect. All right.
So do you already have a playlist, or?
I'm working on one.
Well, I'm sure Damien and Sam and everybody else
and Travis, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll.
Sam especially, I'm sure, could help you with that.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, if you do want to be an actual speaker, not just a public speaker, let me know. I'll be glad to talk to you about it.
Yes. All right. Well, I think that about does it for us tonight.
Yep.
And so thank you, Wes, for coming on, talking about your protest down in Florida. We appreciate that. And as always, I have to repeat, I say at every show, send us money for our fundraiser. 50 cents gets turned into $1 currently.
Yes.
And we will stamp that $1.
We'll stamp that $1. We're going to say that every time now, too. Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome.
So thank you. I just want to say thank you to everybody who listened to me yak at them at SashaCon. And for everybody listening right now to us yak at you.
Yes. Thank you very much. Don't forget to look me up on Infinity Vital Designs at Facebook for your E Pluribus Unum bumper stickers.
Or t-shirts.
Or t-shirts.
It's custom stuff, so he can do a lot. You don't have to necessarily grab
Yeah. You don't have to get exactly that Evilers. If you have your own design, if you want to put your own message on that, you can do whatever you want.
Yep.
So
that's awesome, and Robert, I'll let you wrap it up.
All right, yeah. So we had a great time tonight. Again, thanks, Wes, for coming on. Thank you, Tom and Chris, for being available tonight, even though we had to move the show.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play some music to let us out.
Alrighty. Good night, everyone.
All right.